Well, good afternoon, everyone, or maybe good morning, depending where you're joining us from in North America and Europe. Thank you for joining us for our live launch coverage of Virgin Galactic's second commercial mission, Galactic 2. As you can see on your screen, we are following the plane that has now just taken off from Spaceport, America, beginning its journey to what we believe is an approximate launch time at the top of the hour. So we'll get that countdown clock up on the screen there. We'll update that to the best of our ability, and of course, once Virgin Galactic goes live, we will update that as we go through today's stream for the launch of the second commercial crew of Virgin Galactic. But if it's your first time here, welcome here at the launch pad. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together, and we're glad to have you here. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here, coming from our TLP Canada studio, but I'm not alone today. I've got someone with me. We've got Kieran. I think your audio's patched in. Kieran, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? It's good to be here, to be fair. I'm quite excited for today. Can you confirm my audio's patched in before I'm just looking like I'm...
Let us know in the chat if you can hear Kieran all right, how his volume level is. We're patching him in a new way, so let us know if you can hear him all right as we count down approximately 26 minutes until the drop of Galactic 2. Seeing some 5x5s in the chat. We can hear you. Well, I hope you can hear me. My settings shouldn't have changed, but it sounds like they can hear you too. But we're glad to have you all joining us here today. We've got 3 commercial passengers on board, as well as Virgin Galactic's astronaut trainer and instructor, Beth Moses, going for her 3rd flight, I believe, on their spaceship. So super exciting day for her, and as well as their historic pilot and commanders who have flown multiple missions with the spacecraft as well. We're going to be keeping an eye on the live tracker to the best of our ability throughout today's stream for it. There are a couple different ships that we are tracking here, so we'll see if we can keep an eye bouncing between them. We do have the main mothership, VMS Eve. We're also tracking VSS Unity, which is the actual spacecraft itself, and we are keeping an eye because that chase plane is now heading down the runway as well, getting ready to follow along with the main craft. So we'll be keeping a close eye on their signals from both vehicles over the course of the next 30 minutes as they begin to increase their altitude in preparation. Currently, from the data we are getting, they are traveling at 189 knots, and they are currently at an altitude of 19,500 feet, increasing at about 2,000 feet per minute at this time as we go through. But lots of people just joining us in. If you haven't yet, take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. I know we've got lots of people tuning in. We got Matthew in St. Louis, Missouri. I know there was some more here. YouTube decided to close the chat. Peter is in Texas. Helen's in the UK. I'm going to say your name incredibly wrong, and I apologize. Il Sodo Pagato is in Italy. Wish I was in Italy. Lots of people tuning in.
Hey, we got Andy C from the UK. Hello, UK buddy. Me too. We got Rockman from Central Oregon. We've got the Gummio Martian. Sorry if I butchered that, but from Kentucky. We've got JAS East-ish from Germany. Again, and sorry if I butchered that.
We're like
Rocket
Starbucks. If we butcher your name, it's on purpose.
I know, right? It's just if you sit in the background and you're just reading through chat, you can tend to pronounce the names well. But as soon as you sat there on stream and you're reading them, like, I can't do this.
If you're just joining us, though, and haven't yet, take a moment, engage the like button, share out the stream, let people know that we are live as we're counting down about 23 minutes. We're going to keep our best to keep their plane actually on the screen here, and we can go into a fun view here. We can go 3D and fly with the plane. That is not an accurate 3D model. to it, obviously. And that VGX-03, that's the spacecraft, which is currently still attached to the mothership. So normally you would not see two planes that close to each other on a track. VMS-3 would look something like this model here of the SpaceShipTwo, where our astronauts, pilot, and commander are on board. Obviously, there is still the flight crew of VMS Eve as well, the mothership, which will take care of the mothership plane once they actually drop the spacecraft. But we'll be keeping a close eye as they begin to do some of their racetrack loops over Spaceport America, preparing for today's liftoff. As always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live to the best of our ability. We are keeping an eye on the official feed from Virgin Galactic, and once they go live, we will patch them in to listen in to mission control. They said they'll go live just before the actual drop of the ship, so we will keep a close eye on that for the next about 15 minutes as we wait for them to begin that live broadcast. But yeah, you can keep sending in those questions. You can see they're beginning to complete kind of that first loop over Spaceport America in New Mexico. If you do happen to be down in the region and take any photos or videos of today's mission, make sure you tag us over on X at TLPN_official, or join our TLP Discord. That's where our community hangs out in between launches, and send those in to us. We'll try to pull up some of those photos or videos if you do send them in during today's stream.
I just have to say, can you imagine the excitement of the people in that plane right now?
Yes, I mean, two of them won these seats. They didn't even buy these seats. These people entered a contest like a year and a half ago, got told they were going to go to space, and probably like, okay, sure, yeah, one day, and then nope, here they are. They're actually going to go.
It's like winning the lottery,
but better.
Can you imagine?
I don't think you can get taxed on this.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Can you imagine that? But it's free. How do you tax me?
I see some questions coming in the chat here. James, how does the length of the runway there compare to the shuttle runway at KSC? I will pull up the lengths of the runway here in just a second. It's much shorter. It's nowhere near the length of the runway required for the space shuttle.
While you're pulling that up, we have one from Matthew Henson. When does it take place for our Galactic 2 mission? I'm assuming you're asking when the drop is, which is in approximately 20 minutes, roughly. So we'll be seeing the drop in about 20 minutes, and we should have a live feed around about then too, so we can see everything that's going on. Let's see. Keep those questions coming in, and we'll answer them as best as we possibly can.
So for the runways, I'm actually surprised. They're closer than I expected. The runway at Spaceport America in New Mexico is just about 2 miles long. And then the runway at NASA Kennedy Space Center that was built for the shuttle is 2.79 miles. So about a third shorter, I guess, or longer, whichever way you want to look at that. But it's about 2/3 of the amount, but they do not use the entire runway. They actually need the length of that runway for takeoff more than they do for the actual landing, because takeoff, you've got this massive double-bodied plane that's now carrying a ship in the middle. That is why they need that extra bit of space. Obviously, they still need some. The plane comes back at quite the speed, but from how the plane navigates in suborbital space and then kind of glides back down as well, it's not coming in near the speed shuttle was. We're just getting updates in the back channels here. We're thinking we're right around that 15-ish minute mark for the drop based on things that we've seen in the past and the current loops that we are seeing as we continue through the tracking. You can see they're beginning their second loop. That elevation continuing to climb, now at 32,000 feet. They've slowed their vertical ascent. They're now only going about 1,300 feet per minute increase in elevation, traveling at 228 knots, having downlink from one of the regional antennas there. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this. Now passing through 33,000 feet. Catching up on the questions in the chat here. Russ says, don't count on it. Uncle Sam will find a way to get his piece of the action. I think that was in relation to taxing winning tickets to space. I mean, probably eventually. I just love that we're in a time that we actually have contests to go to space. Like, it used to be a contest for a cruise or a car. Now we're like, you want to go see our planet?
I'd love to win one of those competitions. I'd count me in.
I'll take any of them.
Yeah, literally. What's that? What, you're going to space? Yeah, I'll go. I don't care what you're flying on. I don't care who with. Just take me with you.
Can I bring
Pack
a
me
camera?
in your suitcase.
Yeah. For those that are just joining us, though, welcome here to the launch pad. We are live tracking White Knight 2, the mothership plane for Virgin Galactic, currently carrying VMS Unity, the spacecraft, with 3 customers and 1 astronaut instructor, as well as a pilot and a commander, as they prepare to launch the 3 commercial astronauts into space, the second mission of Virgin Galactic. I want to make sure I keep saying Galactic and not Orbit. Orbit doesn't exist anymore. The plane currently now at 35,000 feet and continuing to ascend at about it's fluctuating between 1,200 and 1,500 feet per minute. You can see they've had obviously a change in their kind of trajectory there. This is that first one that we've seen a really clean line into those racetracks. And we do know that they normally drop once they come back around towards Spaceport America, because you have to think about how this plane launches. It drops, and then it fires its engines. Basically, the spaceship, and I think this is one of the neat things about this plane, my wings don't fold, so I won't be able to do that. They drop it, it fires its engines, and it goes up. When it gets to space, these back fins flip almost 90 degrees, which causes the plane to do literally a backflip. So you have the windows facing down towards the Earth. And then when it comes back to Earth, it comes back this way and completes the backflip, turns, and at some point will begin to pick up lift. And that's when it glides and flies back to the runway. The thing is, there's no engines. So they are not allowed to launch and release from the mothership unless they are in a perfect cone that if anything happens early, cut out anything, they can glide back safely to land on the runway. So it's a very organized thing on what they are allowed to do. That's honestly why we saw such a delay in Virgin Galactic. They did have issues with their first flight where they were kind of right on the boundaries of that cone. And that's why there was an investigation, but ultimately that was all cleared, and we're here for the second mission of the year. Not even 2 months since the last one, and Virgin's getting ready to hopefully do one of these a month, and we are working to get one of our rocket chasers out there to bring you live views from the field, but we're not getting a ton of notice on these. So if you live in the area and are interested in becoming a TLP rocket chaser, let us know. You can apply over on our website, or if you're interested in just joining the TLP crew, we are looking for some more moderators. We're looking for some more journalists for our TLP news team and more researchers for our TLP data and history crew. So definitely check those out. Applications on the website. We're a volunteer team around the world, and we'd love to have some more of you join on the crew as we continue to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow. Kevin's asking, how's visibility day? It is a beautiful, clear day down at Spaceport America from what we have seen. 24 degrees Celsius, light winds from the north, so really great conditions for flight today. A few people asking, where's video? We are waiting for Virgin to begin their live feed here, so the moment that they do, we will patch them in. We can see Virgin's, zoomed out a little too much there. Virgin's main plane now beginning a longer journey to the south. This is what we did expect to see. And there's that chase plane now getting ready to take off. It will come and catch up with the mothership ahead of the actual drop.
We have another question here by Sudasan. Sorry if I said that wrong, but how much time does it take to launch? From leaving the runway to the drop is roughly around the 40-45 minute window to let them get up to the altitude they require and get into that cone that Zach was talking about not too long ago. And then the mission itself is roughly about 10 minutes. So it's a long time, but at the same time, I bet for the people on board, it'll fly by because of the excitement. But at the same time, it'll be one of those that feels quick, but it feels like a long time at the same time.
Yeah, we've heard from Beth Moses, who went up before. It definitely flies by, like we've seen on Blue Origin's New Shepard missions and earlier Virgin Galactics. You hear people yelling in the videos, "Look out the window!" because you're so distracted that you're floating that you sometimes forget, oh, there's a window on our planet there. So it's a lot of senses that all change at one moment. It's probably pretty overwhelming. It's quick. They've got about 4 minutes. So they get a little bit longer than New Shepard does, which is always a win. But I think their windows are quite interesting. The variation of the two feels so different. This is a plane with a rocket engine versus New Shepard, which is a rocket space, little space capsule. So a little bit more room to float around in SpaceShipTwo.
See, I think I'd be really confused at what I'd like to experience the most. The viewing of the planet or the floating around. I'd be like, whoa, this is cool, but I want to see this too, but it's so fun.
But float upside down while looking at the Earth.
Oh. Yeah.
Talk about overwhelming the senses.
Yeah. You always have to do that thing from the front to the back. You have to do that Superman thing. Put your arm out and just go.
We got a question coming in from Gumhimo. What kind of plane carries the craft? And the craft reminds me a bit of the X-20 dinosaur from the 1960s. I will work to bring up a picture here of it because we do have some. It is a specialized vehicle. It's officially registered as the scaled 348 craft known as White Knight. We do have a video now from Virgin Galactic that we can... I'm not sure how this is going to fit, but we'll give it a try live on the air. There we go. So this was a few minutes ago. This was confirmation of some excited people at Spaceport America. So that was VMS Eve taking off on White Knight 2 in preparation for today's mission. We'll see if there's some pictures. They're going through their crew. I know they've got a picture on here somewhere of their plane. They've been very excited about it.
We've had it dropped into the chat on Discord. See if you can pull that up.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Give me a minute and I will pull that up. If you want to maybe go for another question.
Let's have a look. Rob Harris, we have a question. Are you going to show the Russian takeoff? Yes, we will be covering that launch later. I need to confirm its launch time now, but yes, we will be covering it. It will be being covered. We're covering. That's what I love about the launch pad. We cover everything we possibly can. Everything to do with space globally. So yes,
there's so many launches.
Around for that.
There's so many launches today. We have 3 launches today.
Yeah.
We have a crew launch. We have there's more Starlink launches, and we've got a lunar lander launch. I mean, 5 years ago, having a crew launch, a cargo launch, and a lunar lander in a day, I don't think any of us would have believed you. But that is the SpaceShipTwo, not SpaceShipTwo, excuse me. That is White Knight 2. That is the mothership, and then you can see where the actual SpaceShipTwo kind of docks in. It has a thing that holds it on. for it to be able to carry on. And then we do have a picture of VMS Eve here for you as well, which is what the crew will be flying on today. That is VMS Eve. Really beautiful craft, actually.
It is. It's so nice.
And that is a photo over Spaceport America, so you can see the place that they will be flying here today. We'll update the tracker there. You can see they've gone a bit more to the south as they continue towards an estimated drop time here. We did just get a notification that Virgin is ready to go live, so we are expecting them to begin that. So once they do, we will listen into Mission Control for an update on how the count is going towards the stream.
Real quick, Noah, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member with us for 3 months. We really appreciate the support. And I'm gonna butcher this. I'm so sorry. Liue Dehan, thank you for becoming a supporter. It really helps us do what we do. It helps us bring all of the streams to you as much as we possibly can, and it helps us improve. Like, we've got so many things in the works at the moment that we have to release and upgrade, and there's so much stuff planned. All of your support goes a long way, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming. I know we teased that all last year too, and then app and website came out. But if you were excited about last year's things with the app and website, this year, ooh, and our members already know. Some of our members have been getting early teases and actually can use new features of the website already. So if you're interested in getting access to that, VIP spectators and above get early access through our Discord. So make sure you've linked those things, and we will get some more early accesses coming in the next week or so as well. Just so people are aware, we are monitoring the Virgin broadcasts. They are live, but we will listen into them once they actually begin something. But while they do, we will keep a close eye on the actual tracking of the plane as it prepares to go for its flight here. I love the 3D view, so we're going to jump back into that for a second, just to have an idea of what's actually happening.
It's a cool view, but I just wish that just implement the actual plane. You know, just a 3D rendering. Just put the actual one there, not the Boeing.
No, you don't like just the random Airbus Boeing non-denominational plane. Just, you know.
I mean, it's pretty, but not as pretty as the one that's actually there.
But if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are continuing to count down to the second commercial flight for Virgin Galactic. We are waiting for mission control to begin. We do have an estimated drop time of 3:14 UTC. That's in about 20 minutes from now. So we are going to keep an eye on that as we continue to track the mothership carrying today's spaceship. You can see that I don't even know where the chase plane went. I think that might be the chase plane up here. And for those that love to have a countdown, we do have one now. Virgin will begin their official broadcast here in about 5 minutes time, so that's when we'll listen in for an update. But if you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live throughout today's stream in between listening in to Mission Control. They love their music, so there will be times that we'll cut in and give commentary here as well. Catching up on the chat here. Lad100, how do you stay up to date with all the launches? With our website, tlpnetwork.com. That's where our launch control is. We have a number of different data ways that we get information through our website, but also we do get press releases and invites from a number of the space launch providers. So we do get communications there that sometimes are prior to the website being updated. Sometimes there are things that are notified kind of off the record that things are happening, and then most of the time they're public though. So as soon as we're allowed to ever say something, we do, and we'll always make it clear on whether it's a placeholder. It's normally black and white on our website. If it has like an orange yellow, it's kind of in a pending sense. And if it's green, we have a T0 confirmed by the launch provider, and that's what they are targeting. So we do have our mission briefings up for things like Psyche, Artemis 2, Artemis 3. All of those are already on the launch calendar that you guys can see, but you can see their kind of status as they continue. Taking a look at the current altitude, we are now at 45,725 feet. They've leveled out, now only increasing at about 300 feet per minute, traveling at 306 knots, so they are well getting ready for today's flight. They drop right around that 45 to 49,000 feet area, so quite high in altitude. The barometric altitude's 43,000 right now. The GPS altitude is 45,000, and as Virgin continues to get ready to go live, if you haven't yet, take a moment, gauge that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us here at the launch pad. We bring you full live launch coverage of almost every launch around the world. If there's a camera or we can send our own, we normally bring it to you. We also bring you our space news updates, our TLP News Weekly, and some exclusive interviews. We sat down with Crew 7, so that'll be coming out very soon. We also sat down with the pilot of AX2, John, for a really long conversation about his mission and his work here on Earth, so stay tuned for that. And a world exclusive going into a new rocket factory. So we sat down with the president and chief technological officer of a new company, talking about their space planes. And what we can expect to be coming up in the next year or so from them. So make sure to stay tuned for those. Members, you'll get early access to a number of those videos as well. So stay tuned to that. If you're just joining us, though, we're now just about 15 minutes away from the expected drop of today's craft, officially beginning the Galactic 2 mission, carrying 3 commercial astronauts and Beth Moses, Virgin Galactic's astronaut instructor, along with their commander and pilot up to space again.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to start reading chat. I just lost chat. 2 seconds. Sorry.
No worries. Checking in on our altitude. We are currently 46,425 feet, increasing vertical speed to 250 feet per minute, continuing out at about 312 knots. I'm going to switch us over here to track the actual spacecraft itself, because the mothership's interesting, but we're going to want to track the spacecraft when we have that drop. We'll obviously see it, but we will bring up the live track on the side screen while Virgin is live, to be able to keep track of both of those planes as we continue through the mission here today. Blue Skies, has it launched yet? The plane is in the air, but the rocket has not launched yet. So that's a really interesting part of this, that we kind of have 2 things. We have takeoff, and then we have launch. And then we have 2 different landings. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. You can see the plane, really doing this big loop around. This was Spaceport America where it took off, and that's where it'll fly over. So it's going to come to the north, line up, and do a pass, and they will do a go no go, just like we see with any other launch, of if they will actually fly or not. They could do another loop, and Virgin is going live here, so they're going to go through their intro video. But as we get started, you can keep sending in your questions in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we will work on answering those live throughout today's stream. As we continue to count down, we will work to have that countdown clock on screen as best of our abilities as we continue through the count here today. Now approximately 15 minutes away from launch of the second commercial mission for Virgin Galactic. Noah, quite a few private aircraft in the area. There are a number of planes up. They are right on the edge of the White Sands test facility and military base as well. We know we saw a few military craft up in the air earlier today, so lots of activity in the area, but that's expected for the region that they are in. Virgin going through a video now just explaining who the crew are a little bit, and we'll listen into them in a moment once they get through the part with the beautiful music that's copyrighted. But really exciting crew, former Olympic athlete, if I'm correct, John Goodwin. And then we have the two crew that have won their seats because of Space for Humanity with a contest with them. So that is the 3 commercial crew that are getting ready to fly. These are the first 2 people to fly from, I believe it's Antigua. It's a mother-daughter duo that's going up, so that's super exciting to see another country having their first people going up into space as space becomes more accessible for more people, as companies like Virgin Galactic try to make space more accessible. Brad is asking, do you know how much they spend on each launch? So the first, they've sold about 800 tickets so far. The first 75% of tickets they sold at $250,000. Then they realized that wasn't enough, and they increased it to $450,000. That's what they're selling at now. And let's listen into Mission Control.
And prepare yourself. There will definitely be pre-space tears. Thank you for joining us on this momentous day as we bring you coverage of our first private astronaut commercial spaceflight, Galactic 2. I'm Sarisha Bandla. I run research operations and government affairs here at Virgin Galactic, and I had the privilege of becoming astronaut 004 on our Unity 22 test flight. We're coming to you live from our home at Spaceport America, set in the beautiful state of New Mexico here in the US. Days like today don't come around all too often. They're special days that mark moments where boundaries are broken and what we thought to be impossible is redefined. As you saw in the intro, the crew aboard our first private astronaut flight today are unique. They're history makers. They're not only achieving their own dreams, but they're also inspiring the entire world. On board, we have the first Olympian to go to space, the first astronauts from Antigua and Barbuda, the first mother-daughter duo to fly to space, and the youngest astronaut in history. And also, one of my personal favorites, this is the most women ever in a single space flight. And our mission is also majority female, which is huge given that less than 100 women have gone to space total in our history. The list goes on for this incredible crew, and I can't wait for you to get them to know them more on this show. But first, let me introduce you to my co-host, our Mission Insights Specialist, Jonathan Ritchie. For those of you who have joined us before, you know that our Mission Insights Specialist will give you live play-by-play updates direct from Mission Control. So thanks for joining us again, JR.
Thanks, Sarisha. What a pleasure it is to be in the studio with you today. I can't wait to get into this flight and share it with all of our viewers across the world.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here in the studio. And
thank you.
Can you tap into that special power of yours and give us an update on our crew and our vehicles?
Yes, I can. So, as you can see, the vehicles are already airborne. We have, earlier this morning, observed a perfect takeoff from our runway here at Spaceport America with Eve, the mothership, piloted by astronauts Nicola Pacelli and Mike Masucci. Mothership Eve has completed the climb to launch altitude, which for today's flight is 44,500 feet. But in addition to that launch altitude, there's also a designated launch point within the airspace. Everything is looking fantastic. As I said, we're already at altitude. We're at 46,000 feet right now, and just a beautiful view you get from up there. I imagine our crew are taking it in, and they're preparing themselves as we get closer and closer to that big moment.
Amazing. I can feel the anticipation, and I'm not even on board. Now, the individuals today on board bring with them a wealth of diverse motivation and wonderful stories that make them one of the most extraordinary crews to ever fly to space. And when I say it out loud, I really just can't help but feel immense pride. It's always been Virgin Galactic's core mission to broaden access to space, giving more people from all corners of the globe more opportunities to experience the wonder and awe of space travel. And today really feels like the start of something very special. Now, on board first, we have John Goodwin, an Olympian and one of the first Virgin Galactic ticket holders. He's waited 18 years for this. John is joined by Keisha Shahoff and Anastasia Myers, a Caribbean mother-daughter duo who won their seats in a draw that raised funds for nonprofit Space for Humanity. These three remarkable individuals show that the barriers that once existed to becoming an astronaut are being broken down. Now, to date, fewer than 700 people have traveled to space. And not only that, but the rich diversity of humankind is still really truly to be represented. And we're here to change that, beginning with an 800-strong community of future astronauts that come from astonishing 60 different nations across the globe. And some of them will be the first of their nation to experience space. And that is certainly true of today. And I know we have a lot of future astronauts joining us from around the globe here on our live stream. So a huge shout out to all of our future astronauts in that incredible community.
You know, Sarisha, that's what I really love about Virgin Galactic. We're allowing people that chance to realize the dream of going to space, a dream that I hope to realize myself one day.
I know you'll get to space one day, JR. I'm excited. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Keisha and Anna will be the first ever Antiguan astronauts. Now, historical occasions like this bring communities together. The whole island is celebrating this milestone, including guest Prime Minister Gaston Brown and Virgin's founder, Sir Richard Branson. And we're going to go live to Antigua, where our very own astronaut 006, Christopher Huey, is at the celebration. Chewy, what's it like over there? All right, it looks like we have a few technical difficulties, so we'll try to check in a little bit later. But I saw some of the celebration, honestly, a bit earlier, and it looked amazing. There was a huge crowd there supporting Anna and Keisha. We saw Chewy give a presentation about the flight to the crowd. It just looked like all of them were having an incredible time. So we'll try to check in a little bit later. Now, we know that space has this amazing ability to bring people together, and that was on full display in Antigua. But there's also a lot of other parties going on as well. And we'll go in and check on those a bit later. So, it's just couldn't be more excited. Now, what looks like, let's go and check in on the people on board. Their stories are so inspiring, and I can't wait to get to go into their stories and have our entire audience join them on their journeys. Now, John Goodwin, let's start with astronaut 11, an Olympian and one of our first ticket holders. Let's take a look at John's story.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are now T-minus 13 minutes, 10 seconds and counting approximately until the launch of Galactic 2, carrying 3 commercial astronauts to space with Virgin Galactic. On the left side of your screen is a live tracking of the actual SpaceShipTwo, carrying these passengers, now currently at 47,275 feet. They are maintaining their altitude. They are not increasing or decreasing, currently traveling 329 knots as they continue. Virgin Galactic's talking through their crew now, getting to know their crew a little bit better. Today, first, they're going through John Goodwin, the Olympic athlete who's flying. He was one of the very first people to buy a ticket with Virgin Galactic. And as you see on the screen there, one of the biggest things, a very big moment, he will only be the second ever person to travel to space with Parkinson's. And that's one thing Virgin is making as a very important deal, is that we are opening access to space not only for different people from depending where they're from, but with diseases and disabilities that are no longer disabilities, that are no longer a limitation on why you should be able to go to space, because you're not jumping on something like a Saturn V. This is like a plane. It's much easier on the body to be able to experience and view our planet. Listening back into Mission Control, there's a live view inside SpaceShipTwo.
In New York City, friends are gathered at the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research to watch as well. He's got a huge community supporting him, and he'll only be the second person diagnosed with Parkinson's to fly to space. Next up, we have Keisha Shahoff, astronaut 12. Keisha won 2 seats through a philanthropic fundraising sweepstakes benefiting Space for Humanity, a nonprofit organization. Their mission, to send more diverse humans to space and change perspectives, resonated with Keisha and encouraged her to enter. Let's take a look at Keisha's journey.
So that was a live view inside SpaceShipTwo as they continue to travel, now kind of turning back towards Spaceport America. You can see this is where they actually took off, did a couple checkout loops, and are flying through. I believe that is the chase plane now, coming along as they continue. Got a few different aircraft actually now getting ready for the drop here today. And hopefully we'll be able to have those live views from Antigua. It'd be amazing to get to see those celebrations as they have their first two people go to space from their nation. As we continue through the count, T-minus 11 minutes and counting approximately. Take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Share out the stream, invite people to join us. We'd love to welcome you here. I know we got people from all over the world tuning in. Earlier we saw London, we saw a number of people say the UK, we had Florida, we had Australia, we had New Zealand, and it's great to just have so many of you joining us here today as we continue through the count, as they continue to just share a little bit more about the mother-daughter duo that will be on, that are on board SpaceShipTwo today as we get ready for them to begin their flight actually into suborbital space. The full mission from drop to touchdown lasts about 10 minutes, and we are now just about 10 minutes away from that expected drop as well. We'll listen back into Mission Control.
Keisha's reaction to being told she's going to space just embodied an incredible amount of excitement. And to make Keisha's experience even more remarkable, she chose her youngest daughter, Anastasia Myers, astronaut 13, a college philosophy and physics student, to be her companion. Let's get to know Anna.
And as you just saw there on the screen, they updated their overlay, dropping the clock down to about 8.5 minutes. That means they are in a much better place, ready for flight. These are estimated times, so we're working on syncing our clock with that new estimated time. But we are now about 8 minutes away from the drop of Galactic 2 above Spaceport America, carrying 3 commercial astronauts on a suborbital mission on the SpaceShipTwo. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those as we continue through today's flight. The mothership and spaceship currently 47,200 feet, traveling 297 knots as they continue through today's mission preparations here. You can see them now beginning to fly back over Spaceport America. Down below, you can see both the tracker of the mothership and the SpaceShipTwo as you there, and you can see down below them, those are the chase planes that have launched from Spaceport America. If we turn that, there are the chase planes down below them that are quickly coming up to be prepared for today's flight. Let's listen into Mission Control.
This crew is incredible. Might have been an understatement. They're absolutely extraordinary.
Yes, they are.
Now, I've heard that we have our feedback from Antigua, so let's check in with Chewie on the celebrations.
Make sure they know to bring the audio down. All right, test 1, 2, 3. Am I in? Good.
Hello, Antigua. We can hear you and see you.
Sarisha, I'm here on the ground in Antigua, and the energy is absolutely off the charts. Now, we're coming right off the heels of Carnival, and we are gathered here for an amazing watch party where the people are gonna go crazy. Space has this amazing ability to bring people together, and we've got waving flags, we've got music, we've got dancing, maybe a little rum, I don't know, but everyone here is really excited for Keisha and Anna. Back to you in the studio, Sarisha.
Amazing. I can feel the celebration. It's amazing. I can feel the energy. It's incredible. Now, going to our pilots who are going to be taking our dynamic crew to space, I want to introduce our commander of Unity, astronaut CJ Sturcow, a retired Marine test pilot and former NASA astronaut. Sturcow is a veteran of 4 space shuttle missions and 3 Virgin Galactic Unity missions. He's the first person to launch to space from 3 different states. Piloting Unity today is Kelly Latimer, who has logged more than 6,700 hours in her 32-year flying career. Kelly also operates as our Senior Director of Flight Test. This will be Kelly's first space flight, and she'll become one of only a handful of women to pilot a commercial spacecraft. And joining the crew in the cabin is my fellow Unity 22 crewmate, Beth Moses. Beth is our chief astronaut instructor overseeing all the training and preparation of the Galactic 2 crew. Beth is flying with the crew to continue to evaluate the spaceflight experience for our future astronauts. Now, speaking of our future astronauts, JR, how are we looking?
Well, we are about 4.5 minutes out from release. That's an estimate based on our expected time of arrival at the release point, and that gets closer and closer to being accurate as we get closer and closer to that release point. So at this point, 4.5 minutes out, that's a fairly accurate estimate.
All right, you know, spaceflight is not just a trip to space. I know we're following our crew to their release altitude, but it's an experience that starts well before the rocket lights. And this crew has an amazing amount of supporters behind them. Their friends, families, and communities around the world they're inspiring. Let's take a look at some special messages sent in for this crew.
Former NASA astronaut Ron Guerin here. I can't wait for you to hear. 3, 2, 1, release, release, release.
Keisha and Anastasia, good luck on their space trip.
You truly are an inspiration.
My heartfelt wishes for a safe and a meaningful spaceflight. Remember that you carry with you the dreams of so many others as you carry us all closer to the stars.
Anastasia, now you are representing the University of Aberdeen in space. I'm just sending a message to all the students and the community that our dreams can come true.
Congratulations to my cousin Keisha. I'm so happy you put the energy out there, and Virgin Galactic, you caught it.
We knew you were born to fly.
You're going to be inspiring a whole generation of young Antiguan and Barbudans.
Hi, I'm Keisha. I miss you a lot. And I'm happy your dream came true.
Good luck to the entire crew, and especially Anna. We're so happy for you.
We're supporting you, and we're all here for you.
Okay, I am going to interrupt their video here. It looks to be that we have had separation. So it looks like we might be on a weird bit of a delay here, but we are in flight. I don't know why we're experiencing this, but SpaceShipTwo is going to space right now. We'll, I guess, get to see it from Virgin Galactic here in just a couple of moments, but we have had release. And SpaceShipTwo is going to space. You can see the separation from the mothership on our tracker here as we continue to monitor the live thing. As you can see there, we have had dropout of signal of SpaceShipTwo. That is expected when that white line, that means we have officially lost signal from it because it is flying. And we will continue to monitor this as we await about 3 minutes time for the live feed from Virgin Galactic. This is very interesting that we are having such a delay on the Virgin Galactic feed. We're using the official feed here, but we are having a very long implemented delay. Which, yeah, just interesting to see. We are now T-minus 2 minutes, 50 seconds and counting until drop. But the crew now experiencing zero gravity. They are good about 2-3 minutes now into their 10-minute flight as we await to actually get to see this on screen here. We will await to see that acquisition of signal of them coming back down. That's going to be our idea. There is a view of the ship flying above Spaceport America.
Starts in that horizontal release position before turning towards space, a maneuver that we refer to as the gamma turn. And then the rest of the rocket motor burn occurs in the vertical. We're now 2 minutes out from release.
The rocket motor boost was one of my favorite parts of the flight. Seeing the Earth drop away and seeing space come into view is just absolutely exciting. And of course, our vehicle gives our customers the best view of Earth with the amount of windows we have.
Yes. So we are go for release on time. That's about 1:40 from now. As you mentioned, that view from Earth, when the rocket motor burn is completed, the pilots will command the ship to feather. That's rotating the tail and the aft section of the wing up to about 60 degrees. And that starts a backflip maneuver for our spaceship. And it orients the vehicle such that all of those windows overhead are providing just a fantastic view for everyone on board to be able to look down at the Earth below. All right, so we're about 1:10 away from release at this point, 1 minute.
And I can see the crowds in Antigua, and they're excited. I can see the crowds here at Spaceport America getting ready to cheer our crew on their ascent to space.
So the last set of checks that will be done, we refer to as the L-30 or 30 seconds to release. And that's when the Spaceship Unity pilots ready and arm the launch pylon. And that allows, once we get to the designated point in our flight profile, for the mothership pilots to engage the release and set Unity free. We're now 30 seconds away from release. The very last preparation that the pilots in Spaceship do before release is they push that control stick all the way forward, ensuring that we have a perfect separation. We're 15 seconds. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1, release, release, release. Ignition. Good control. There's Mach 1. The pilots have started trimming for that turn towards space. Trim is now set. There is max Q. That's the point of maximum pressure exerted on the vehicle by the atmosphere. Those on board are experiencing about 3 Gs right now and traveling over 1,000 miles an hour.
That's incredible. I can imagine they're having quite a great time.
We're at Mach 2. We're in the vertical, headed towards space.
This is the part where they're seeing Earth move away and seeing space come into view and seeing that they're going to space, and just, it is an incredible feeling.
So we've got about Mach 2.8, Mach 3 approximately, and rocket motor cutoff.
Amazing. The crowds here are just absolutely going wild. I can't imagine what's happening in Antigua with them cheering them on. That's incredible. Awesome. Go Keisha, go Anna, go John.
So everybody on board has been cleared to unstrap and enjoy that zero-G experience. The pilots have unlocked the feather. That's the preparation so that they can raise the feather here momentarily. They're engaging the RCS as well. The feather is now starting to move on its way up. Everyone's up out of their seats just
it's incredible. They're all, I know, it's amazing. They're all going to the window and taking in this just absolutely incredible view of Earth, the planet where all of their experiences are held. Everything they've ever known is down below.
The feather is all the way up. We have a predicted apogee of about 289,000 feet.
That is amazing. Our crew looks like they're having an absolutely incredible time, and they are officially astronauts. Welcome to space. Woo. Congratulations to John, to Keisha, to Anna on becoming astronauts today, and a special congratulations to our Unity pilot, Kelly, for her first space flight. And welcome back to space, CJ and Beth.
And the vehicle is oriented in that backflip or that upside down maneuver from our perspective. And you can see them just enjoying that view of the Earth below.
Man, it's just incredible. I can see that they just can't take their eyes away. And it's, it's hard for us to describe. We can obviously see they're having just an incredible time in space, taking in the views, but it's an experience. It's the silence, it's the views, it's seeing our brilliant planet against the matte black of space. I can't imagine what, I can't imagine what they're going through right now, and I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, well, we just achieved our apogee at 290,000 feet. That's 88.5 kilometers.
Amazing. And apogee is actually a very unique part of our experience. It's when our vehicle begins that descent back down to Earth, and everything stands still. It's just, and we take a moment in the cabin, silent, and looking out as a crew, and it's an experience I can only describe with these words, but one to be felt, really.
Yes. So the pilots have initiated the motion to return the vehicle around, complete that backflip all the way around, and orient us for the re-entry. they've just made the return to seat call. They do that before we get to about 0.1 Gs. The pilots tell the passengers when to return to their seats, and then it's something that our training team has made very natural and intuitive, even though you're in that reduced G environment.
Yeah, absolutely. During the days up leading to training, it's something that all of our crew practice. Our cabin is very purposefully designed to allow for our crew to get back into their seats. And even on re-entry, the amount of G's that you feel, but it's designed that anyone can do it, as we've seen today. And the views are going to be amazing on the way down, too.
So when we talk about space travel, right, with the boost, everybody recognizes that as exciting and thrilling, but the re-entry is actually quite thrilling as well. And we have shock waves that form over the top of the vehicle. Right now, they're experiencing the max G on re-entry of about 3.5. We're supersonic, so if you're outside here at the Spaceport America, you should hear a double sonic boom as Spaceship once again breaks the sound barrier on re-entry. We just passed subsonic.
Amazing. And the crowds, again, are just cheering on our entire crew. They're going to be able to see the vehicle as it comes down to land, and our crew here are also going to be they're going to be able to see Spaceport America. They're going to be able to see see that their family and their friends are there cheering them on as they come back and return to Spaceport America.
So we've passed below 60,000 feet. Once we get to about 53 to 55,000 feet, we'll command the feather down. That'll result in the nose of the spaceship dropping. And then once the feather is down and locked, which it's now moving, the crew will pull back on the stick and make a gentle return to level flight.
I remember during the re-entry, I just could not stop looking out the window. The landscape of New Mexico is just very indicative of this planet. It's beautiful, and it's really just amplifies going to space, looking down on just the beautiful planet you've just left.
And the feather is now down and locked. So the pilots are starting that gentle pull back to straight and level flight. Spaceship is now a glider, so it's all about balancing that potential and kinetic energy. If they want to go faster, they push the nose down, and if they want to go slower, they pull back and bring the nose up.
It's absolutely incredible. G2 is a flight for the history books. The crew on board are on the leading edge of broadening space access and are taking the first steps in hopes that others may find it easier to follow their lead. Now, Keisha and Anna have become astronauts today thanks to Space for Humanity, whose mission is to expand access to space for everyone. And to talk more about their mission and their purpose, we actually have a special guest in the studio, Space for Humanity's Executive Director, Rachel Lyons. Rachel, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarisha. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh my gosh, you must just be absolutely pumped. So before we talk about Keisha and Anna, I know we all want to, I wanted to ask, could you tell us about Space for Humanity's mission?
Absolutely, yeah, and I am so excited. The team is so excited. It's such a dream come true to see this happening, to see Keisha and Anna and John going to space. I'm like pinching myself here watching this whole thing come to fruition. And so Space for Humanity, we're a nonprofit organization founded by Dylan Taylor, who's a space investor and founder and CEO. And our mission, as you have been mentioning.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We've adjusted our tracker here as they've pulled the live views from the ship as it returns back for some reason. But this is the live tracking based on real-time data, not the 5-minute delay Virgin Galactic had on their live stream, where you can see the spaceship is doing a low flyby. They are currently at, well, not even low, they're at about 14,000 feet, and they are doing a loop around the Spaceport America, and they will be beginning to continue their journey to have a touchdown here momentarily. Looking around at what is in their airspace, it is fairly clear. There is one of the chase planes that is right next to them. You can also see another aircraft over there. So we've been monitoring this as their craft continues to descend, now passing through 13,000, now 12,000 feet. They're doing this kind of cone-shaped circle above Spaceport America as they prepare for landing. Really interesting angle there. That is Spaceport America right below them now. This is based on real-time data. The views you're seeing on your screen, unfortunately, do have about a 5-minute delay at this time, but we will continue to track this in real time as best as we can. Great to see. There is also off as in the distance, you can see there is the mothership circling, preparing to touch down as well, as we await the arrival of the Galactic 2 crew back at Spaceport America. James Wilson just feels like one long good commercial. It's an exciting day. It's great to see another launch, but it is definitely aimed at the idea of trying to definitely sell some more seats and stuff, which I mean absolutely would love to go, but we're seeing that early days of the pricing. $450,000. You get 10-minute flight roughly. And the question is that what it's worth to you? Those prices are starting to come down. We will see those continue to descend over the next decade, and hopefully it'll become even more accessible to more and more people as we open up space. Going back into that 3D view, taking a look at the spacecraft, where it currently is in relation to the airport. See if I can find the airport in the shot here. They're currently flying towards the mountains. They'll do a loop around here. There's Spaceport America. There we go. So they're continuing doing another loop. This is because they are as a glider. So they do a cone-shaped loops until they actually do land back at the runway at Spaceport America. Again, if you're just joining us, on the left side of your screen is an animation based on live telemetry we are getting from the spacecraft's downlink on its current position in relation to Spaceport America. On the right side of your screen is about a 5-minute delay from Virgin Galactic on their live feed from one of the wingtips there, and we have had confirmation of touchdown. So they have officially landed. We didn't have a super clear identifier that they had landed, but they are confirmation of touchdown of VMS Unity at Spaceport America. Our crew is going to work on this. I'll say that right off the bat. We definitely want to improve this for future flights. Work on having someone out on location, because definitely very hard to actually monitor what the situation is. So we're doing our best, and apologize that it's not the standard that we normally try to bring you for today's flight, but we wanted to make sure we try to bring it to you as best as we could for today, and we hope that Virgin Galactic will partner with more groups to be able to bring live coverage of these super exciting flights here from Spaceport America. But the Galactic 2 crew is home. We will stay live, monitoring the live feeds from Mission Control as we await the confirmation of the touchdown to see that crew home safely. But they are continuing their journey on the live feed, at least, back to Spaceport America. But we have had confirmation of touchdown. The crew is in good health. They all look happy and healthy as they wrap up their mission here today. Going back to Antigua.
Sarisha, I'm here with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, and we just witnessed something absolutely amazing. Prime Minister, what does this mean for Antigua and Barbuda?
Well, it's the most significant event for the people of Antigua and Barbuda and the Caribbean. This is certainly a major achievement, and an achievement that will help to inspire great ambitions of the Antigua and Barbudan people. We're very proud of the courage and certainly the resilience of Keisha and her daughter. And we are just very happy.
Thank you.
As you can see, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Yeah, so sorry. 20 minutes past.
We're good. 20 seconds goes fast. All right, we got it.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. The energy in Antigua is just incredible. I can feel it. The energy here at Spaceport is absolutely amazing. as we welcome our crew back as they come in for landing. Now, let's take it over. JR, can you give us an update on their progress back to Earth?
Yeah, I sure can. We're at this point just under 12,000 feet. Kelly was at the controls there for most of the glide. CJ has just resumed control of the flying the spaceship. So the approach checks are in work. They've planned to manage their energy management as you do with a glider, and now hitting those waypoints as they come in to runway 34 here at Spaceport America. So that's south to north on the runway. For those non-pilots tuning in, those numbers represent the first two numbers on the magnetic heading of your compass. So 34 is 340 degrees. So we're doing a turn to final right now, and that's a left turn so that CJ, the pilot, the commander in the ship, has a view of the runway. The landing gear is now down and locked. And we're about 7,500 feet.
Amazing. Again, I've said this before many times, but the crew have this incredible view, not only of the New Mexican landscape, but of our Spaceport facility, which is this incredible facility where they spent the last few days bonding with their crew and training with their crew. So, of course, it holds a special part in their hearts, and they get to see that view on their way down.
So we're 1,000 feet above the runway. The runway here is about 4,500 feet or 500 feet. Pre-flare, that's pulling the nose up and taking advantage of the ground effect. It's extra lift you get when you're close to the ground. We've crossed the threshold. That's the beginning of the runway. Beautiful. And touchdown of the main gear. Now CJ's going to hold the nose gear up for a little bit. That helps bleed off the energy that the spaceship has, using the air drag associated with that. Now he started to lower the nose. And the nose gear is now down. So at a designated airspeed, the pilots have the option to apply the brakes or not. They can let the vehicle roll to a stop. We have plenty enough runway here. They are applying the brakes today, so.
We have 12,000 feet of runway here at Spaceport America.
12,000 feet of runway and 200 feet wide, so plenty of room. And full stop.
Woo! Oh my gosh, amazing. That is absolutely incredible. What a beautiful landing. Congratulations to everyone on board. We saw beautiful flying from our Eve crew and brilliant work by our chase pilot, all of whom are still in the air right now. Thank you to everyone on the ground here at Spaceport America who made this day possible. Continue following us on social to hear more about our incredible astronauts.
And there we go. Galactic 2 mission is officially complete. The crew back down at Spaceport America. If it was your first time here, though, welcome here at the launch pad. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together, and we were glad to have you joining us here live today. We got 2 more launches today. Russia's launching Luna 25, a lunar lander heading to the south pole of the moon, so we hope you'll join us for that. And then later today, we've got more Starlinks, so we hope you will join us for both of those. If you haven't yet, subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage. Of course, it's launch day, so you can head over to the TLP Network store, use promo code LAUNCHDAY, and you can get 10% off some of our TLP launch gear, and that is going to do it for us. But from our TLP Canada studio and our TLP UK studio, my name is Zach. We had Kieran with me today as well, and we had Jay in our network operations center, and that's going to do it for us today. But we will see you next time because space is better together. Bye-bye.